Do it for us today. I'm Chris Stewart. Denver 7 News at 5 starts right now.
I pay tribute to my mother's memory, and I honor her life of service.
His first address as the king.
King Charles III greets people in London, ready to honor his late mother, the Queen, and announces some new title changes for the royal family.
Today, I am proud to create him Prince of Wales.
Colorado voters will have one less decision to make in November concerning marijuana taxes.
And monitoring the potency.
We got to make sure we look out for our kids on this.
Tonight we're looking in depth at the debate over high potency THC, how it should be sold and regulated in Colorado.
I just feel it's important to make sure that we keep the conversation open and not just one-sided.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us for Denver 7 News at 5. I'm Jason Grenauer.
And I'm Jessica Porter. Today, Britain's new monarch, King Charles III, delivered his first official address to the nation and the Commonwealth.
The eldest son ascended the throne immediately after his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, died yesterday, surrounded by family in Scotland. Reporter Faith Abube begins our coverage tonight live in ABC's London Bureau.
Faith, today was the King's first address, which outlined how he intends to rule.
Tonight, solemn gun salute and growing tributes outside Buckingham Palace, marking the official start of 10 days of mourning for Queen Elizabeth II. A massive cheering crowd welcoming the late Queen's grieving son back to London Friday to begin his reign as the new monarch. Inside St. Paul's Cathedral, thousands honoring the late Queen's memory, while also looking forward to the future, singing the latest rendition of the national anthem, God Save the King. By sunset, King Charles III, in a recorded message, delivering his first official public address after meeting with Britain's new Prime Minister, Liz Truss.
As the Queen herself did with such unswerving devotion, I too now solemnly pledge myself, throughout the remaining time God grants me, to uphold the constitutional principles at the heart of our nation.
Charles announcing his son Prince William and wife Duchess Kate as the new Prince and Princess of Wales. The king has been waiting in his mother's shadow for 70 years for this moment. He was just 3 years old when he became the heir apparent to the British throne. As age began taking a toll on the Queen, Charles took on more responsibilities. In a single year, attending 530 engagements on her behalf.
He'll be the best prepared monarch we've ever had, having served so long sort of tutelage under his mother.
Longtime royal watchers anticipate as Charles settles into his new role as king, he might slim down the British monarchy.
I think he will look at the infrastructure, the buildings. Do we need all these palaces? Should Buckingham Palace be opened up to the public more?
And Jason, Charles will officially be proclaimed king tomorrow, and after 10 days of mourning, Queen Elizabeth's funeral is expected to be held at Westminster Abbey. In London, Faith Abube, Denver 7. Back to you.
And Faith, before we let you go, I do want to go back to the King's first address. He made an announcement concerning some new titles for members of the royal family.
He did. Yeah, he confirmed that his son William and William's wife Kate, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, will assume the title the Prince and Princess of Wales. And what's remarkable about that is the fact that, this is the first time that that title will be used since the death of Princess Diana, Harry and William's mom, of course. But there was also another warm moment during that speech when the king mentioned his other son, expressing his love for Harry and Meghan, wishing them well as they build their lives together overseas. And this is especially notable as well because of the years of tension between the father and the son. Back to you, Jason.
ABC's Faith Abube reporting live from London tonight for us. Thanks so much.
Well, people from all over the globe are now in London to remember and honor the Queen. That includes a couple from Boulder. Rick and Ingrid just happened to be vacationing in the UK for the past couple of weeks and happened to arrive in London yesterday, the day news of the Queen's passing broke.
We just wanted to feel what it was like to be here with all these thousands and thousands of people and show our respect for the family. We've been following the family for all these years from a distance, obviously, but I remember watching Princess Diana's wedding on television,
Yeah.
So even though it's not our country, we certainly been exposed to it and observing it for all these decades.
Right now on Denver7.com, you'll find several in-depth stories on the Queen's passing and the plans for the days ahead. You can also find coverage on the free Denver 7 Plus app.
All new at 5, Boulder police just announced they will be holding a news conference in an hour to give an update on the man who was breaking into University Hill apartments over Labor Day weekend. The suspect broke into 3 homes through unlocked windows or doors and committed a sex act next to at least 3 female victims. Now, we are sending a crew to get the latest from Boulder police, and we'll bring you that information tonight at 6 and at 10 o'clock.
Today, a Denver ballot initiative that would have raised marijuana taxes to fund after-school programs has been pulled from the November ballot.
And now that school is back in session, a local nonprofit is about to launch a campaign warning parents and kids about the dangers of high-potency THC. Now, they shared their message only with Denver 7's Amy Wattis, who's breaking down those concerns here with us live in studio.
And Amy, you also got a response from marijuana advocates.
I did talk to both sides, and the nonprofit One Chance to Grow Up will soon be rolling out a campaign across Colorado, not only because school is back in session, but also to encourage parents to have that tough conversation with their kids about the risks of highly potent THC.
It's been nearly 10 years since recreational marijuana became legal in the state of Colorado, and since then, parents like Diane Carlson have been working tirelessly to make sure kids and teens across the state are safe. Carlson is the co-founder and policy director of One Chance to Grow Up, a local nonprofit with the goal of keeping kids safe from marijuana commercialization. She says she's excited to get a new campaign front and center, warning people about the dangers of marijuana concentrate.
Kids are dabbing these products, and it's been very confusing about any harms around marijuana and what people are talking about.
Carlson says that confusion is another driver for getting this campaign out in the open. Since the passage of House Bill 1317 last year and new changes put into place this year, she says there's been a lot of controversy on both sides of the aisle. House Bill 1317 created a scientific review council to examine the effects of high-potency THC on the developing brain and mental health. It also changed the daily concentrate limit for medical cannabis patients from 40 grams a day to 8, which aligns with what customers are allowed to get on the recreational side. Patients between the ages of 18 and 20 are capped at 2 grams of concentrate a day, with the owners of businesses to track their transactions. And dispensaries must provide customers with this educational pamphlet about THC concentrates. It's this pamphlet Carlson says parents and kids need to read.
Those include, that marijuana concentrate may lead to psychotic symptoms and or psychotic disorders, disillusions, hallucinations, or difficulty distinguishing reality.
The pamphlet noting that marijuana concentrates are not recommended for anyone under the age of 25 unless it's recommended by a doctor, stating that people under 25 may be at greater risk of potential harm because the brain isn't fully developed. Cannabis advocate and consultant Melanie Brinegar thinks getting this message out in the open is key.
I think creating awareness, especially for teenagers, because they're so curious, is important.
But she says on the flip side, some people, even kids and teens, might need higher concentrated THC to help with a medical condition.
There's a very small majority of people who are under the age of 18 who are using this for medical use.
Using the example of a previous patient who used THC to suppress seizures, Brinegar says it all comes down to talking to your kids.
I think it's just a matter of those parents educating their children and just making sure to not demonize them, but just relating to them. I just feel it's important to make sure that we keep the conversation open and not just one-sided.
Now, One Chance to Grow Up's Diane Carlson says the mostly digital campaign will launch statewide on Monday and will run for as long as they see fit. Live in the studio, Amy Wattis, Denver 7.
Kids are actually, just as you said, carrying more items in their backpack because they have less opportunity to get to their locker in the day.
lugging around a heavy backpack at school is no fun for kids and could create back issues later in life.
A local doctor explains how to better prevent your children from facing chronic pain in the future.
We can try to be preventative in those earlier formative years is really important.
Temperatures have tumbled in the last 24 hours. Wait until you see how chilly it's going to be tomorrow.
Plus, visiting our state parks will be a whole lot cheaper for Coloradans next year.
And Broncos head coach Nathaniel Hackett is shrugging off the Seattle fans that might be bitter about Russell Wilson's return to Washington.
Kind of randomly heard that. I mean, I think in the end, for us, it's about just going to win a football game.